Hello and welcome to the channel. And for today's episode of Black Bag Comics, we are back with Marvel, and we have in front of you Fantastic Four number 375 in all its glittery, sparkly, prismy called glory. So this is around the time, well, you can see here, the 30th anniversary of Spider-Man, 1992. This is just on the heels of the exodus of the Image guys, McFarlane, Jim Lee, Silvestri, Liefeld, and all of those guys. And in order to compete with Image, Marvel turned the Invisible Woman into a hot mama. Which some of the hardcore fans were like, what the hell are you doing? But hey, they had to do what they had to do. So this issue, I believe it's a double issue. Yeah. And this is typical, not a typical 90s comic from Marvel. Gimmicky covers for every anniversary issue, pretty much after the 90s. Once the 90s started, they started doing like alternate covers, variant covers, or these like flashy prism covers or holofoil covers. You know, a lot of that technology was starting to get popular at the time, either with trading cards or sports cards and all of that. So finally, the technology came to comics. And this is a spectacular example of that. So let's dive in. This issue came out in April of '93. Yep, April of '93. So this is, right at that point where Marvel was trying to bounce back from the, like I said, the exodus of the Image guys, and they were trying to do whatever they can to compete with Image. So one of the things they tried to do at first was replace the old school Fantastic Four, the original Fantastic Four, with the new Fantastic Four, which was Wolverine, Hulk, Ghost Rider, and Spider-Man. I don't know the lead up to this because I never got it. This is the first Fantastic Four issue that I ever bought. And yeah, it's and you're gonna see the a lot of stuff that happens in this issue that doesn't really go anywhere, as far as I know. Nothing. No, I mean, major repercussions. Not really. Not that I remember. So here we have Tom DeFalco, Paul Ryan, plot, pencils, and script. Dan Bolanati, inks. Morelli and Parker letters. Gina Going, colors. Pat Garahy, editor, and Ralph Macchio, editor. Not that Ralph Macchio. So yeah, Paul Ryan is the artist on this. Um, we just in the previous episode, which I just filmed, was the strangers for Ultraverse. You're gonna see a lot of similarities in the artwork because again, it's that typical old school 80s 90s artwork, right? Very house style and not really embracing the the image style. You can see some influence, but not really. It's pretty much straight up like when you think of classic Marvel comics, this is like the look, right? So here you have the Fantastic Four plus this chick. I don't know who this is. You've got a Skrull, Layla, who was Johnny Storm's girlfriend, and then the Fantastic Four, right? They were all transported up to some spaceship by Uatu, the Watcher, who supposedly never interferes but always does. And again, a lot of this artwork is pretty, standard, nothing too exciting, but yet not boring. It's, you know, it's fine. Again, you could probably, uh, you know, Fantastic Four at that time wasn't really selling for Marvel. So it wasn't like one of the major books that they had. If it wasn't Spider-Man, if it wasn't the X-Men, or related to those, nothing was really selling for Marvel. So something that I mentioned in what was it? The in a previous episode, I believe it was in the Robin, when I mentioned guys like Tom Grummett and Mark Bagley. You've got competent artists, right, that you can depend on to put out monthly stuff, but they're not gonna make you, a tons of money in terms of like cachet for in name recognition. So they're not gonna move a lot of issues for you. So a lot of the stuff that Marvel did was rely on gimmicks to sell issues. And if Marvel had ever cultivated like a second generation of artists that followed the image guys, they probably could have had them spread out more, you know instead of having them all focused on just X-Men books and Spider-Man books and all of that. They had put some of those guys on like the Avengers, or Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and all of that. They probably would have had a better what do you call it? They wouldn't have panicked as much, right? So they wouldn't have had to resort to like some extreme measures. One of them was, Wolverine clawed half of the thing's face, or having to put Sue Storm in a skimpy outfit, right? Here we have Doctor Doom making an appearance. Doctor Doom was always like the typical. I mean, for me, Doctor Doom is like the coolest villain, but he is pretty much like that classic type of villain, very theatrical. And he reminds me a bunch of like those typical Scooby-Doo villains, you know, curses. And if it wasn't for those blasted kids, you know, he was always blaming Reed Richards, you know, curses to Reed Richards. You know, so and here we have the Inhumans making an appearance. So you know it's a big deal. Something's about to go down because the Inhumans have made it an appearance, right? And again, a lot of these characters in the early 90s, they were like, okay, what are we gonna do with these guys? Oh, I know. Let's have them appear in an anniversary issue for the Fantastic Four, where they have to fight Doctor Doom. Cool. Here we see fighting this huge robot. The thing gets punched right where he was scarred earlier, and it must have hurt like a son of a bitch. Which is, I believe, why he puts on a helmet later on. But again, you know, I like to point out stuff like this right here. Things like this could have benefit from, you know, being bigger, you know. A lot of, like I said, in the either the Robin or the Strangers video, you know, the necessity to not try and copy image or the image style, right? The necessity to remain true to yourself, right? Although some artists that were old school did try and change with the times, but a lot of them resisted, right? But certain things do call out for like big images, big splash pages, and you probably even excuse me, you see that even with Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby used to do that, you know. I don't know when. I believe, I don't know if it was. Let me adjust my seat here. When Jim Shooter took over, you know, and his idea of comics were more, you know, trying to be more story driven and not maybe art driven. I don't know. But Kirby had some, you know, really cool visuals for his time. And then things started to get a little more, you know, simple, you could say, you know. Sure, you had guys like John Byrne, Neil Adams, and Frank Miller, you know, from the George Perez from like the early mid 80s, you know, that were doing exciting things visually, but they were, you know, few and far between. It wasn't until really the image guys really pushed the threshold on the visuals of a comic book. Now, fun fact: the very first portfolio pages that I drew to show to editors at a convention at Comic Con San Diego in the early 2000s was this sequence of pages that are coming up. I redrew all of these. I would have shown you these pages, but I don't know where I left them. I know I have them still stored somewhere, but just to show you guys my artwork from back then. But I don't know where I kept it. But yeah, I redrew this like 5 pages of this sequence. 1, 2, 3. No, it was just these 3 pages right here. 1, 2, 3. um, and because it's the sequence that I thought was coolest for me to draw. And yeah, well, now that I'm in my head, now that I'm remembering the the artwork that I did, yeah, it was pretty bad. Um, but yeah, this entire sequence I thought was pretty cool. That's why I redrew it. Um, Here you see Johnny, getting in a fight with his girlfriend for some sort of misunderstanding because she's a scroll, so he thinks, blah, 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 blah. And then, boom, we have Doctor Doom. Again, this could have benefited from a huge image of Doctor Doom, right? Uh, and but again, it's a little more subdued. It's nice. Again, everything about this issue is drawn well. Nothing is wrong with it. This sequence is pretty cool. This entire sequence is pretty cool. All right. The artwork is solid all around. There are no wonky panels, right? The storytelling, the pacing, everything. I believe this is Daredevil. Yeah, Matt Murdock, but yeah, the the artwork is just fine. It's perfectly fine for a Fantastic Four comic of the early '90s. Nothing wrong with it. There's a cool image of Doctor Doom here. I mean, here we get a look at, well, I mean, we saw it on the cover, but I mean, a nice look at Sue Storm's new '90s costume with the 4 cutout on her chest, which was later explained that it was because of the influence that she was under by some character named Malice, which was like a Dark Phoenix. They're like her version of a Dark Phoenix, like some manifestation of her inner something or other. So she became a character named Malice for, I don't know, for a short time. Short time meaning like 1 or 2 issues. I don't know. And so supposedly that's why she changed up her look, because Malice was a little. She looked like a little S&M character. So yeah, Doctor Doom up to his normal schemes, trying to conquer the world with some powers, newfound powers that he drained from. I believe that was what was going on with the Watcher at the beginning. Um, Doom drained one of the Watcher's powers for his own gain. And that's why he was like in a coma or something. Here we meet young Franklin Richards. They're the Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic's and Invisible Woman's kid, who has I don't know if she had a sister at this time, Valeria. But Franklin in comics right now, they've used them a lot. Well, even a few years after this, for the Onslaught miniseries, he was featured as one of the main characters. He was still depicted around the same age, but in like in the 2000s, around the 2000 2010. I'm trying to remember who. Ryan Hickman. Somebody remind me of his first name. John Hickman, the writer Hickman. He put the Fantastic Four into took them into the future, or told some future stories. Jonathan Hickman. There we go. And Franklin Richards is like some mega omega powered character, right? And he's almost like a demigod or something. So Franklin Richards has an incredible power set, and this is Agatha Harkness. So if at the time of this recording, we recently had the WandaVision Disney Plus series. So this is what Agatha Harkness really looks like, and not the what's the actress's name? Jessica Hahn. What's her? Um, no, Jessica Hahn is like, who's the? Give me 1 second. 1 second. Catherine Hahn. It was the actress that did WandaVision, the Agatha Harkness. Jessica Hahn is like some Playboy model or something. But anyway, that's what Agatha Harkness really looks like, which is pretty much like Aunt May, right? So here we have the thing. Like I said, he put on a helmet to protect his face because of the claw marks left, the scars left by Wolverine clawing half his face off. And then we have the arrival of the Inhumans, right? They're out here to help out the Fantastic Four with their troubles, their Doctor Doom troubles. This is a cool shot, right? This is what I meant earlier, right? In this sequence here. This is cool, big bombastic Doctor Doom, right? So then in this sequence here, we have this guy. Now this looks very. Now if this doesn't remind you of like something that Image would do, right? And it turns out this guy is like Reed Richards' dad, his grandfather, which is later revealed to him in this issue. So here we have the Fantastic Four fighting off Doctor Doom and a bunch of his robots. And can someone answer me why is Johnny Storm's jacket not disintegrated by the flames? Is it because it's made of unstable molecules? And then here we have Sue Storm's six-pack. Here we see Reed coming up with some clever machinery to, blow away Doctor Doom. But it turns out it only put him down momentarily, because it really didn't do anything to him. And then finally, the Inhumans come into play. So now everybody is ganging up on Doom. I'm looking at this sequence here, trying to see, this panel here, in my opinion, only because of the dialogue does it require a lot of space, but it really doesn't, right? Could have been smaller, and this panel could have been much larger. Again, you're trying to show off what Doom can do, right? He's got this beam thrown at him, and here he's, showing off his powers and just tears it to shreds, right? but it's all, you know, constrained in this panel here. Even this could have been drawn smaller, right, and made this the money shot of the panel, of the page, excuse me, made this panel even much larger. Instead, other than these, you know, inset panels here on top, this is the smallest panel on the page. You want the money shot to be the you know, the thing that draws the viewer to, you know, to the page, right? Wow, wow, this is not it, and this is not it, this is it. So make this larger. I don't know why, you know, they went this way. You know, that's just my way of thinking. Every page has a money shot, so that's the one you have to emphasize. And even here, this to me is the money shot. This is Reed giving Black Bolt his weapon, right? Supposedly, if he's gonna siphon his power into it, that's gonna be able to defeat Doom. And then we have this little, you know, corner panel of him holding the weapon, but that's about it. But I mean, it's a medium close-up shot, so you gotta make it count. So to me, this would have been larger with him holding up the gun, you know. That would have been awesome, right? Which would set up this right here, or this, right? So instead, you've got similarly looking panels, right? And then this is the money shot. You could have made him bigger and still emphasized this, right? You could have had them talking, I don't know, get creative. Made this larger, right? And then get this slightly larger. And then this dialogue could have been done if you're, excuse me, if you're reading this like in a circle, right? This dialogue could have been added at the bottom here. And then you could have still had this panel on its own. So to me, this panel here is in the way. It's not needed, right? Because you're still reading it in this sequence. So if the dialogue would have been done down here, you've got the same three characters, right? They're all speaking. Well, Sue didn't speak here, and but you got them right here. So if the page is reading like this, then put the dialogue down here. You have more room here to either play with this panel or this panel and make this larger, so that when you put the dialogue in, you know it's still in the sequence. So again, it's just you know, it's probably because of how I look at comics now, because of that image style influence. So I do try and challenge myself in that way when I'm trying to lay out a page, right? So that's just something that I would have done here. So here, it looks like they siphoned and overloaded the Dr. Doom's whatever. I think this is what's holding in the Watcher's power. I don't know, like a battery or something. So here, this is a cool drawing. You know, even though it's in silhouette, it's a pretty cool drawing. You know, it's pretty simple. It's pretty Kirby-esque. It's pretty, you know, got a lot of stuff going on in the background. You got the characters down here looking up at them. Yeah, that's a cool shot. Same as this. I've done stuff like this, where you're in one scene and then pull out to see the results of something. And so yeah, here we have everybody gathered around. It looks like they defeated Doom. they're transported somewhere, I believe, back into the back to the Fantastic Four house. And then we have your own father-in-law, Nathaniel Richards. And so yeah, this is Grandpa. Nearby came to help me. So I mean, Cable, right? And here we have Doom arriving at his castle, defeated once again. The fools! If, I know that, how much time do we have? 5 minutes? Okay. We're at the end. If, Marvel is gonna, Marvel Studios is gonna release, the Fantastic Four in the future, which they are. We know that they are. Trying to think of someone who would fit the Doctor Doom mold, right? And I really think, even though, Michael Fassbender would make an awesome Doctor Doom, but since he already played Magneto for the X-Men, new class and all of that, I don't know if he would do it, and it would cause confusion with the fans or the casual, MCU guy or whatever audience, right? And also the similarities of the character in terms of like their approach, the way they talk, their methods, and all of that. So I'm trying to think of someone who would make an awesome Doctor Doom. Fassbender was the first guy that popped into my mind, but trying to think of someone who would make an excellent Doctor Doom. Let me know in the comments below who you think would make a great Doctor Doom. And yeah, here we are. So again, reviewing a nice, basic early 90s Marvel post-Image Guys issue of Fantastic Four. Like, comment, subscribe. Thumbs up, please. Thumbs down. Sorry that you didn't like the video. And let me know what you guys think. We've still got a lot more issues to go through that pile that I showed you a few videos back. So hope you're enjoying this series. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.